All right. 3, 2, 1, action. Not yet. Hello, everybody. We're going to start today's class off with Jerome playing a song, of course, and then I'm going to point to Jerome, and here we go. Okay. All right. So we had Jerome open up with a number. There's a reason for that. Now let's see if I can pull this off. It was 2 minutes long, so it might take a little bit to transfer. I'm going to transfer some information to my computer for you. Oops, I got to turn off airplane mode. Sorry, folks. This is going to be a cool class if I can pull this off for you. Give me a second. Oh, I hear my computer beep. And, oh, that was pretty fast. Cool. All right. Okay, folks, you want to take over? You want me to share that video first, or?
As I speak, then you can share the video.
Okay.
Okay. What are we doing? What are we doing today? Yeah, we're trying to give you some easy tips on recording. Okay. Also, along with that, it's the season to start learning your holiday songs, because some of us, it might take us about a couple of months before we get enough songs in our repertoire to send to our grandkids and granddaughters and uncles and aunts and nieces and nephews. So we thought we'd start off the theme today with some holiday songs. Okay. And the easy way to do this, if you don't have a recording system on your instrument, if you got a smartphone, you can do this on every instrument that we make, including some of the real old ones. So, and here we go, just to kind of prove it to you.
Okay.
All right.
Hold on. Okay. So what I did is I recorded that on my phone. And then what I'm going to attempt to do, see if I could find it, in the chat, I'm going to see if I can attach. Some of you have iPhones and what have you. I'm going to open it up. Let's see. It's going to take a while to download on the computer. Oh, we got faster internet, so it's not going to take us long.
Oh, man, that is so good. Okay.
All right, so in a moment, in your chat file, you're going to see an attachment come over, but while it's doing that, let me show you what I did. And let's see if I can, whoops, let me stop sharing, share screen, share computer sound, optimize for video, I think I have to do. Oops, wrong one again. You ever push the wrong button on a computer?
Never.
let me do this one more time, folks. Bear with me because we were trying something a little different this time. Okay. So, Sean, can you see that black screen?
Oh yeah, I can see that.
All right, let's see. Here we go. Oh, the video's not coming up for some reason. Well, maybe it'll show up at some point. And this is a recording on my phone. The video's supposed to show up, but I'll do that again a little later. Maybe I can get it working later. But that was recorded on the phone, and in fact, I believe I attached it as well.
I see it. It's just a large file, so it may slow down people's internets here a little bit.
Yeah, okay. So basically what I did, before I switched camera phones, I'm going to show you on the phone what I did, is I took my phone while Jerome was playing, and like many people, you have this really fun device called a smartphone. We'll go backwards. All right? And as you can see there, that's him playing, and then if I put on the sound, you won't be able to hear it because, oops, go this way. You might hear it if I do it like this. Okay. The point is I recorded it on the phone. Now, many of you have a smartphone. Many of you have a not-so-smartphone. But what's cool about that is no matter how smart the phone is, a lot of nowadays we can record stuff. And what Jerome wanted to do is give you some recording tips on what to do, some tips on recording on what to do if you want to record some songs for the holidays. Some of you have this. Some of you have it built in the instrument, so we're going to share that on some of the models. We're not going to go in super detail, but we're going to give you some basics, and then we're going to go in detail on the product feature classes on some of the upcoming classes. And so he's going to do that. I uploaded the video. If you're able to download it, great. It's not extremely important for the purpose of this part, but what I'll do is I'll send it out this week so you'll be able to view it as well. So that's up there, and I kind of showed you on here how it works. So Jerome's going to take it over and start giving you some tips on how to record, because it's not just about how to use the instrument. That's one part of it. How to set up the instrument, push this button, push this. But there's a little bit of, would you say, mental preparation?
Yeah, mental preparation, yes.
No matter how many times, we were talking about this, no matter how many times we play, when we go to record a song, we always do something. We prepare ourselves. I got to make sure I do this, I got to do that. And then when we record, I don't know about you, Jerome, but I've had many times, I've played a song 40, 50 times, and then when I record it, I always make a mistake at the end, or in the middle, or somewhere, and then I feel like I have to start over. So, with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Jerome as I get the camera set up to follow him around. So go ahead, Jerome.
The setup I used on this particular unit, this is a Freedom 3 Esty, nice product. I use Green Sleeves as the song, but I didn't want to play it traditionally. I wanted to use a 4/4 rhythm with it. The song was actually written in 3/4 time, okay? But you can take it in 3/4 time and play it in 4/4 just as long as you can feel the beat. I use a bossa nova beat with jazz guitar with the duet harmony on, and then the bridge or the chorus. You might want to call it the chorus. In bands over the years, we call it the bridge. If you remember, James Brown used to say, "Hit me, go to the bridge." Well, that's the same concept, okay? Because we don't say "hit me" around here very much. But anyway, it's the same concept. And the bridge, I use the strings with the trio harmony because I wanted a little bit more fuller than two voices, okay? And that was the reason why I was doing it on this instrument first, because it doesn't have a recording system on it. But like Robert say, if you got a smartphone, you can do it and with any instrument. All of these instruments and all the instruments, it doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to move my bench over here to the next unit in line that actually has a recording system on it. And this is also going to be instruments like the Encore or the Holiday Classic. This is the Odyssey I'm sitting on. The way you want to set this one up, everything is thought about before you actually hit the record button, okay? So I want to play Silent Night or songs like maybe First Noel, okay? So I'll say, okay, I know Silent Night is a waltz, so I'm going to hit the waltz button, but I'm not going to play it with the rhythm. I'm going to play it without the rhythm. So I'm going to turn that rhythm off because what it does, first of all, it sets up a great tempo for the metronome for me already. So I'm going to hit the record button. Let's see, check my voices out first. That's very good already. I'm just going to use the easy button, all right? Easy button is on. Memory comes on with it. I don't have any accompaniment. I got the ALC on if I wanted to use it on. Let's take that for the second verse, all right? I might not play the second verse, but you don't want to use all of your buttons up at first, all right? So now we're going to hit the record button, and you're going to hear the tempo.
Now, Jerome, before you go any further, now pay very close attention what he's doing right now. He hasn't touched anything. Don't touch anything yet. Now, for those of you who have an instrument that has a recorder, when you get to this step right now that he's doing, right now it's not recording. It's a little annoying. You hear that clicky noise. He almost did it. The minute a button is pressed, a note is pressed, anything is touched on the instrument, then the recorder starts recording. You remember the days of the cassettes where when you push record, that whole time it was recording? Well, that's not the case here. Right now it's just telling you this is the speed. Now, the minute he touches a tempo, the minute he touches a preset, the minute he plays a note, it's going to officially start recording. All right, sorry about that.
Now I'm going to press the stop button on the recorder, and those lights that you can see under the accompaniment and the upper is going to turn green. That means I got something in there, okay? There's something on there, all right? Let's just hit the playback button. And I'm not going to play this all the way through, but now, if you could get a little closer shot on that section right there.
Now, hold on one second.
Okay,
I got a question for you. I noticed when you played it back, you didn't hear the clicking noise.
No, it won't. It doesn't record the clicking noise.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I want you to, when I wanted to say that, because I saw some looks on people's faces that, what is that? Just remember, if you're doing it the way he just did it, and you hear that clicking, it's only doing it for the basis of counting. Now I'm going to switch it to me for a second.
There's a
So, yeah, so when you're doing the recording like he just did it, what he did was he played a song without a rhythm. And if you're doing without a rhythm and you press record, it's going to click, okay? But what's cool about it is when you play it back, it's really just a tool to help you stay in time. Now, in another class, which I'll mention at the end, we're going to teach you how to turn that off and on at will we're going to go in detail on that some of the other classes. Today is just a general idea. Now you're going to get a close-up of that, and I'm going to put a screenshot in a second so they can see. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And
On the
here's our cameraman, our famous cameraman.
and these are the fingers for the camera.
Okay.
Reason why we want to show it to you on this particular model, because it says music recorder on top of it. And all of the instruments that Larry makes has music recorder, but they might be located in a different spot. So we want to make sure on the Odyssey, if you have an Odyssey and if you have an Encore, it's going to be right there, okay? Just to the right of your, just to the left of your headphone button plug, okay? We're going to move on. This is a nice little instrument. If somebody needs this one, call me after this show.
Well, now while he's moving, I'm going to
I'm
put
moving again.
I'm going to put a screenshot of a page. All right, Sean, can you see that? Is that too big, too small? Joni, anybody? Can you see that okay?
Looks good. Yeah, it looks
Okay.
good.
So I didn't have time to go and take a picture of every organ in the store, but the model that he just played on and recorded on was called the Odyssey. And as you can see right here, this is the recorder section that he was talking about, so you can kind of get a better view of this. You'll notice that a lot of the models are very similar in the way they're labeled. So if you look on the, what is this, the Stardust? So the Odyssey, Premier, Legacies, they're all kind of very similar. You'll see this one has accompaniment and upper and some other buttons. This one here, let me zoom in a little bit. This is a Stardust. Whoops. You can see a lot of similarities. Record, obviously play, pause. The Symphony on the larger models, you can see the basic operation is the same. And then on the Inspire and Rialto, and I'm gonna guess without looking at one, a Fanfare, maybe, but definitely Inspire Rialto. You can see it says record. There's the accompaniment in the upper. What he was saying was once you push record and it's clicking and you're done, these lights will show up solid red, green. Sorry, strike that red, green, and it means there's something in there. All right. But before he goes to the next organ, I got a question for you, Jerome.
Sure.
So what does someone do? Do they just sit down and then play the song? Just record? What do you do before you record?
I set it up first.
Oh.
Okay. You gotta really think setups before you. That's why a lot of these classes before we had the recording class was all about setups. Whether you're gonna use the general presets, whether you're gonna use category presets, whether you're gonna use rhythm presets, or setups. Okay. And in this case, I just basically used the easy button with the strings, okay? I could have used any of the presets on there and recorded the same thing if you wanted to make it a lot easier, along with the rhythm. Now, this particular instrument and instruments like this size, they don't have a large storage capacity. You can only hold about 6 songs in the Odyssey, I believe, and maybe 20 in some, and it varies. But if you're going to store something, you need some type of device, probably your smartphone or some tape recorder you can plug into the back. There's a lot of devices out there you can use for this, but the simplest one is the smartphone. Just record it on there and store it, and then send it to your computer if you like to.
Robert,
it's
Yes.
we have a question from Charlotte Hunter.
Okay.
Charlotte, you got a question?
I do. Hi, Jerome.
Hey.
No, we forgot to tell you the rules. You got to ask easy questions.
Okay. I just, when Jerome said that he is going to play Silent Night, I put out my song setup, and my More button under Harmony for the lower keyboard went on. Do I turn that off?
Not necessarily, dear. You don't have to turn it off. If you're going to use something from the More button, leave it on. If are you using it from? What are you using the More button for your registrations?
No, it just turned on when I clicked on Silent Night, under my song setup. It just went on.
Maybe
More
that
button went
preset.
on.
Maybe that preset was drawing something from the More button. Okay. you can have it on or off. If you turn it on and off, you can tell by looking on your screen whether what sounds is on for you. But it doesn't matter, dear, whether it comes
Yeah,
on or not.
okay.
Okay. It's
All
probably
right.
choosing an instrument from the more button for that particular setup. Okay.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Now, one of the
Great, thank
things,
you.
Charlotte, one of the things Jerome said a minute ago before you asked your question was, and I kind of asked him this, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, and he did as well, is the most important thing when you're recording is whether you use it with a song setup or he did it without a rhythm, you just used the setup in the organ, his own setup. The point is, make sure, this is probably the most important thing that you can do in your recording, is have the setup for the song that you want to play before you go to record.
Uh-huh.
That is the most important thing.
Yes, very much
Because
so.
no matter how good we are at playing, and I can tell you, Joni's on, Sean's on, there's probably a few others of our staff members, they're some of the best. If they were to record a song for a student, I guarantee you, before they push record, they have the organ set up. If they have presets or songs, it doesn't matter. We have it set up so that we don't have to record it 20 times to get it right.
Uh-huh.
Or we make a mistake or, something like that. And when you get a recording from us, I can tell you most of the time, that wasn't the first go-around.
Right.
It might have been the 6th or 7th go-around. But we always have it set up first. Because otherwise, you go to hit record, it doesn't matter if you're using a smartphone or an iPad or whatever the case may be, if you're using one of those devices, you're ready to record, and you don't have it set up, you're going to get 3 measures in a song, go to, oh, and you might say a bad word here and there, and then you have to start over. And the more flustered you get, the harder it is to play the song.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
key ingredient number 1 is to make sure you have it set up the way you want. I'll tell you my
Okay.
key ingredient too in a bit, and maybe Jerome will give you his. But we all have different methods. All right. Now,
All
on the
right.
Odyssey, you said some of the organs have internal songs or
Yes.
internal
Storage.
storage. So, like Fanfare has,
Internal storage.
do you know how many it has? 25?
I think this
30?
has 20. Is it 20? I think it's 20 in this fanfare.
Does anybody know that? Sean, you're a
Sean probably,
Fanfare
yeah.
Journey expert, is it? Or Joni, do you know that?
I think you can record 20.
They don't know the answer, but
Okay.
it's more. A lot of them have internal storage, and I have a little trick. It's a little trick. It's helpful. It's not the ideal, but it's helpful on how to increase that storage without increasing it. But I'll tell you about that in a little bit.
Okay.
So go ahead.
How
I'm
many
sorry.
does Liberty have?
The Liberty has unlimited.
Unlimited, yes.
Okay.
Do you know why?
Great. No?
You may ask, why is that, Robert?
Because I was about to get into that.
Why is that, Robert? Jerome?
Okay, well, then you'll just have to wait. Jerome's about to get into that.
Okay.
All right.
All right? So,
Thank you.
so you're going to find that answer out in a minute.
If you
Okay,
have one
great.
of these, can you see that? If you have one of
There's
these,
your camera right
it's,
there.
it's
I
called
do.
it's called a memory stick or USB or flash drive. There's 3
Yeah.
or 4 different names for this. Okay, I've heard it all kinds of ways. Stick. So
I call
if
it
you hear one of us say, "Do you have a stick, USB, flash drive?" We talk about one of these. This is a storage unit. Unlimited amount of storage you can put on this. Now I'm on the the Inspire right now. The Inspire, I believe Sean eventually, real soon, is going to be getting a little bit more in detail on the Inspire because there's 2 different ways you can record on the Inspire: the Lowry format or the.
Oh, what happened?
Lost audio. No,
Something went wrong.
Yeah, what happened was someone muted us. They probably did a mute all, and then we got. What was the last thing you said? Now repeat what you said.
Repeat what I said. Okay, this particular little device is called a flash drive, or a stick, or a memory stick, and it's called quite a few other things too. And I was talking about Sean in the future, real soon in the future, is going to be doing something on the MP3 drive, which the newer Lowry's what we call smart organs. Okay, they almost work like the cell phone. It can use any type format, the Lowry format or the MP3 format. And I think Sean is going to be teaching a class on that real soon coming up. This particular instrument, the Inspire, the Rialto, the Marquis, Grand Marquis Aria can use either format. And I'm not going to get involved into it, but if you're going to record something on one of these instruments, including the A-series instruments, you have to have your flash drive in, okay? Because it doesn't store it internally. It stores it on the flash drive as you go.
So how many songs can you put on that, Jerome?
On this particular stick, I'm not sure. But I know if you have a larger format on the stick, you can put an unlimited amount of information on it. This one is a small one, I believe, probably 250 songs.
Yeah.
I'm
While
guessing.
he's loading that, or putting that in there, you got to take this thing off.
Thing off.
The cap
Okay.
off.
I knew there was something there.
Let me give you, folks, for those of you who have USB organs, pay very close attention to this while he's getting set up there. Nowadays, USBs, that one there, I got lucky. It was an old one. It says 256 megabytes. You'll never see one of those. But nowadays, if you go out and you buy a USB, it's hard to find one that is a 4 gigabyte, I think. And that's a lot of storage. A 8 gigabyte. Nowadays, you find 8s very easily. And a lot of people tend to think that if I get a USB with 16, I'll be able to do a lot with that. If you're using it just for the organ, you're wasting your money. So remember that. Now, I have a USB stick that's a 16 gig and a 32 gig. And the reason why I have that is because I have pictures and I have videos and I have PowerPoint. I have all this stuff on it, and I have some Lowry stuff. But this is very important. When the Lowrys were designed with the USBs, they were designed to only allow you to fit 250 recorded songs or 250 should I say, 250 groups of presets. And then the MP files, which is a whole nother topic for the EX classes and the EY, it's a lot larger. You can do a lot more with that if you want. However, going back to the Lowry format, so if you have a USB that is, say, a 4 gigabyte, and you have one that's an 8 gigabyte, and you're recording directly on the organ, like he's going to show you here, just do an example, it will allow you to do the same amount of number in each. You can't go any further than that. So if you're going to stick just for the organ, it's probably a best idea to buy the one that has the smallest amount of memory you possibly can. All right? And here's the other thing. If you ever have a stick with a USB that has 200 songs on it, especially on the A series, if you go to load that in, you'll be waiting about 35, 40 seconds before it accesses the files. 30 seconds is not long until you're sitting there waiting for it to catch up. Now the EX series is it's a lot faster, but if you put too much on it, it does take a little time to access those files, so keep that in mind too. So that's why I always say it's probably best to have a few of them with the smallest amount of memory as possible. The MP, and he's going to mention a little bit about the MP, is a little different. That's a different type of a file, okay? So I'm going to switch the camera over. And while I'm doing that, is there any questions before we go on? Okay. Jerome,
all right.
camera's on you.
Recording using the Lowry files from the E series, the EY series, very simple. All you want to do, I'm going to choose something from the song setup. And I knew someone was going to ask me that. Can I just use the song setup? Yes, you can. Song setup, probably want to add my intro on with it. I chose White Christmas. And just like I say, song setup, turn on your intro first, hit your song setup button so your registration is ready to go. And now all I'm going to do right now, before I hit the record button, remember the EY system and the Marquis and Arias, you don't have to re-record again. You can transfer the files. And I'm sure Sean is going to talk about that later in a couple of weeks, or maybe even closer than that, I think. But you don't have to re-record the songs. You can just transfer the files, all right? So I'm going to hit my record button. If you notice, it's ready to go. Intro, one finger. Again, like on the Odyssey, when everything finished, just hit your stop button on the recorder side now. Don't get it confused with the song, with the start and stop for your rhythm section over here. The stop button for the recorder side. It's going to say, as soon as I stop, it's going to say song 1. Now, you can leave it on song 1 if you write down the name of the song, but if you want to change the name of the instrument, of the song, you need to go to Feature, and you want to hit the USB button. And I want you to get close on this one, okay? Because this might take you a little bit. For people who have the arias, you really don't have to worry about this because you got a nice little keyboard you can work with. I want to rename the song. Instead of song 1, I want to call it White Christmas. I'm just going to put W in there for now, okay? You're going to hit the
Hold on.
hit the word
We're
that's
going to make you dizzy a little bit.
yeah, okay. We're going to hit the word. Let's go back. I'm going to do that again, okay? You're going to hit USB, and we're going to hit rename song. There's the song. Touch it again. And then you're going to use your uppercase or lowercase, whatever you want to. See the light came on red? That means I can move the alphabets now, okay? Scroll button to white. We just started, and then we're going to cursor over to any other letter. I'm not going to do the whole thing. Just a few letters. I'm going to put the H in there, all right? And then down at the bottom it says rename. Can you see that? Rename with my fingers.
Song rename.
It's song renamed already, okay? It'll tell you when it's done. So just hit your play button. Oh, I got to scroll, don't I? There it is. See it up there? Play. Just remember this, when you're recording, it's definitely going to get your mistakes right away, okay? So just have everything ready to go. Have your music in front of you so you can know when to start on the right note, all right? Did you get that? If you got any questions about that particular setup, we're going to do that again in a few seconds here, okay? Robert, you want to add anything to that?
Any questions? Now, I got a question for you, Jerome.
Uh-huh.
I've noticed that so far, every example you did, we opened up with the SD. Now, by the way, the reason why I did it at the beginning on the SD is because some models do not have an internal recording. And what we wanted you to know is, if you want to record yourself and you don't have that option on your instrument, there's ways to do it. Now, the expensive way is you go out and buy a bunch of equipment and hook it up to the organ, which you can do. And then you'd have to have the knowledge. Let me just go here. Then you'd have to have the knowledge of hooking it up, turning MP. But nowadays we have this thing called the smartphone, and I just wanted you to, we wanted you to know that anybody can take a simple camera. I mean, that's the thing of the day nowadays. That's what everybody is doing, and you can record yourself and what have you. You have it internally. You can do it internally or both. But my question for you, Jerome, is I've noticed a little theme here. Everything you're showing today is Christmas songs. It's only September.
I know, but you know, I started last year doing a class, if you remember, in September on Christmas. And by December 10th, I think we had 10 songs down. And that's just about the right amount of songs that you want to put on your memory stick to send to your family members or a friend or somebody who might want to join the classes. So it takes a little bit, you know, especially with all the different style artists we got, like Joni and Sean. They all play their Christmas songs a little bit different. We might play the same ones, but sometimes people like listening to all of them. So we're going to give you a lot of pointers starting real soon on just some arrangements that we came up for the holidays.
So the point is if you don't wait until November.
Last minute, right.
Don't wait till November to try to pick out those Christmas songs you want to play for friends or family if you want to record, because then sometimes it's too late. So we did this last year in some of the stores, and I noticed that the stores that taught some Christmas holiday music, what have you, around mid-September, throughout October, November, by the time the holiday season rolled around, they had a lot of great ideas and sounds for their favorite holiday tunes. And Charlotte, do you have another question? You have your hand up?
I do. I just realized that I've recorded before I had my Liberty in Arizona. And but this Liberty is fairly new to me. But there's a music recorder on the top, and there's a CD recorder / player on the bottom right side.
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
See, it's almost like you know what we're going to teach today.
I'm sorry.
That's two questions she asked that we were getting ready to do.
Okay.
That's funny.
All
That's
right.
funny.
Okay, I will.
Actually, Charlotte, this is one of my favorite
Charlotte,
things.
I have a question for you. Do you have a spy cam in our store when you hear us preparing our class?
There's a spy on the wall.
All right. Well,
Okay, I
before he
will
does
wait.
that, so he alluded to on the E series, he was using the USB, recording directly onto the instrument. All right.
Okay.
He also alluded to what's called an MP on the E series. When you record a song onto the organ, it puts it in that format of that instrument. So when he recorded on the Odyssey, it was on the format of the Odyssey. If I go to a Stardust or Royale and I record it on the organ, it records it on the format of that instrument only, okay? Now, on the E series, there's a way to, after you record it, to transfer it to what's called an MP format, all right? Now, we're not going to get into the who, what, why, and how. You know, he alluded to Sean teaching that. The next Elite EXEY class, Sean is going to go in detail on that. For the A series people, Jerome's going to do that next Tuesday on the specifics, okay? But what that means is you can take that music and convert it. You're recording. He said this earlier. You don't have to go back and play it again. What you do is you record it once the way you like it, and then there's a step-by-step process on changing it to an MP on those series, in which case you can put it on a USB, email it to somebody, play it in a car, or whatever, okay? Now, MP is basically a language in layman's terms, which basically means, for example, if you ever, some people have iPods and iPhones. When we download music on those phones, that's called an MP file, okay? Before that, there was the CD player, which is kind of what you were alluding to. So a lot of the models actually have, you point to the CD over there, Jerome? So if you see right there what he's pointing at, what you're saying, That's the CD. A CD is recorded in what's called an MP format, all right? And what he's going to do here is he's not going to record on the CD. Sometimes he'll do that. But the problem with the CD, you have to know, is that once you record it onto the CD, that's it. You can't go back and delete it. So what a lot of times we'll do, sometimes we have the courage, and we just record directly into the CD. Like I recorded a concert live once on the CD because I figured I'm not going to go back and edit it, and I recorded it as I did, and mistakes were there, whatever it is, whatever it was. But when I'm going to record a song or two for customers first, I'll make sure I get it right first on the organ. I'll make sure I have like we said earlier, he has it set up. So whatever he's going to do here, he's got in mind what he wants to record already.
Yeah.
He kind of has an idea. And what he'll do is he'll record it. Now, while you're getting that set up, I'm going to again screen share the picture. Here are 4 different models that you'll notice are all very similar. So this symphony is like the Liberties and the Patriots. This recorder section is, I'm going to record it to the organ of the USB in that format. Same thing here. If you look here, this is the E Inspire. It says if I push record here like he did earlier, it records it directly on the USB in the format of that. Stardust, Royales, Performers, Sensations. I'm sure I'm missing a few. You see the same process. It has a record button there. If we had that instrument, we push record, it worked the same way he's been doing it. He opened up on the Odyssey, the second song actually. He pressed record. The Premiere, the Legacy, there's Encore, there's Holiday Class, a lot of models. You'll notice that if you look at this, what you're seeing here, you'll notice that the buttons are very similarly labeled, okay? So now I'm going to bring it back over to Jerome, and he's going to go ahead and take it over and show you what he's going to do to record over there.
Okay, on this particular model, the starting with the Prestige, you have a music recorder and you have a CD recorder player. CD recorder player, record and playback. Normally what I do, I started out doing this because I found out that I could sing through the microphone and record directly to the CD, whereas on the new EX series, I can record MP3 file and sing too. But on this model, I have to do it on the recorder player, okay? That's me put my microphone in and sing along with it. And I've done it over the years, but I didn't put all of the songs on one CD because some of them were really kind of bad. So over the years, as I traveled around the state of Arizona and played concerts, I took the best ones and I actually recorded them on the music recorder and took the best ones, and then I recorded them, hit the play button on your recorder, and recorded my best ones on the CD player. But you can do it either way, okay? You got 2 different recording systems on here. I kind of like the format because I'm kind of used to it, okay? Any rate, going back to the beginning, you still got to set up the instrument. So I was using, the song I'm going to play now is Do You Hear What I Hear? And I'd like the French horn to start with that. I hope I got the right one. Okay, I think I got the right one, but I think I got the right one on with something else that's going with it. I don't want that on. That. All right, there we go. Let's hit the record button. I got my tempo locked because I don't want it to change. Let's hit the record button. If you notice, you're going to see 4 red lights on this one instead of 2. Can you see it? 4 red lights, all right? 4 on top, I mean. That means recording the registrations, the bass, the lower, the upper, and the record button, and the pause play button is ready to go. So I'm just going to go and start with the easy button first. I like that rhythm. Okay. Let's hit the stop button. So you can play around with this during your holiday presentation of some of your songs, and you can come up with some great ideas, I'm sure, that your family haven't heard these arrangements of. So you can be creative with your Christmas song this year. And at the end of this, well, I think we're really close to the end, unless Robert want to add a little bit. But if you do it on the recorder first, then transfer it to the CD, it's easy because all you got to do is put your CD in there, hit record on the CD, hit play on your recorder, and let her rip. Okay?
So, Jerome, let me just ask you this. So I'm a brand new student, and I'm going to go record. What's the first thing that I should do?
Set up.
Set
Set
up.
up the instrument.
Yeah, set up the instrument
Yeah.
first. Okay.
Yeah, set up the
What
instrument.
else do you think? Maybe rehearse it a few times?
I
Brent?
would say definitely rehearse it more than 3 times. Because you're going to get to a point where if you're going to record, you really need total concentration. I mean, I've been doing this around. I'm a ham anyway. Sometimes I can get through it live or without repeating it. But for instance, if you got somebody holding the smartphone for you, you might want to practice on it because it makes anybody nervous when they want to sit in front of somebody and play. So I would definitely rehearse it first or go over it, get it down pretty good.
Yeah. Look at that camera over there.
Okay, that camera over there. Okay.
So I just real quick before I go to the next thing, just pay very close attention to what he just said. Number one, find the setup that works for you.
Right.
All right. That's it. You just mess around with it till you got it to the way you like it. 2, rehearse. Because I'm going to tell you this. Jerome said it best here. There's something that happens that the minute we know we're going to push record, no matter how much we play that song, there's something that goes to our brain that says, no, we're going to make you nervous now. It happens. I'm telling you, it happens to the best.
It does.
All right? And I can't tell how many times I played a song 40, 50, 60, 70 times over the years, and then I go to record it, and halfway through the song, I mess up, and I go, and I try to, and I go, oh, no, I got to start over. I got to do it over. Just something happens. So the best thing you could do for yourself is just rehearse it as many times till you feel comfortable. You could say 3 times and maybe 10 times. It doesn't matter. And, go ahead, Jerome.
Oh, what makes me get rid of that fear over the years, because I've done live performances where I recorded it and didn't care whether I made a mistake or not, okay? So it helped me over the years to get rid of that fear. Just do it. If you make a mistake, fine. You can always re-record it later, all right? But that if you're playing in front of your own peers, sometimes it helps you. I know in our regular classes here, we encourage people to play amongst each other. We had our organ classes who meets on Sundays sometime, and they would play for each other. That get rid of the fear of playing in front of somebody, and your recording will go a lot easier.
Now, you said one other important thing there, is even when you get to the point where you're comfortable with playing in it and what have you, it's probably a good idea to record 3 or 4 versions of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because then you can always go back and listen to the one and pick the one you want. Again, now, if you don't have an organ that has a recorder, just remember, we have the technology today that allows you to use, you can record yourself. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to finish up saying a few things. Before we adjourn, you have to play one more song.
I want to finish up my song.
Yeah, just think of something while I'm talking on this
Okay.
subject and giving some announcements. So keep that in mind. You can always record a few and go back. Now, I got to tell you a little story. In recording a song, I can tell how many times I met people, and when I say recording yourself, it doesn't matter what method you're using. You got a fancy equipment you want to. I know people that actually have really fancy equipment they hook up to the instrument, and even though they have a CD player, that's okay. You can do it however you want. But what I found with most students, when I ask them, do you ever record yourself? And you'd be surprised how many of them immediately go, oh! And it's funny, Jerome, because they all do the same thing. No! It's like you all talk to each other and say, if they ever ask you, go like this. No, not me. And there's some people that are brave. All right? But here's the reason why. It's about confidence. It's about nervousness. It's about playing for something. It's all of the above. I had a student when I first came to Tucson in 1996, I want to say. Before Jerome and I met, he came aboard. And we had, at the time, a group of students that would go out in the community and play with us. And I can't remember her last name, but I remember her first name was Mary. And she was a student. As you know, we have a lot of stores that we had students that would watch the store for us whenever we had to leave for a meeting or something. That was our student that we always called upon. Hey, can you watch the store? And she had a nice fancy organ, what have you. And this group of students would get together and they would play for each other once in a while. Well, I heard that she kind of had an idea. She knew the music, and I could tell when I spoke to her, she understood it. But if you ever asked her to play in front of a customer or a student or fellow group members or whatever, it was like she gave you the evil eye, like if you ever ask me again, I'm going to punch you. Because she was just terrified of doing it. In fact, even in front of her own husband at home, she always played with headphones on. One day, she had the courage to play one song. And I've never seen hands tremble so much and get through a song. And she had some, you could tell the mistakes. It wasn't that she played the wrong notes, it's that her hands were shaking so much that she hit other notes. After that one time, she could not get enough of it. And then every time thereafter. So what Jerome said was very key. This is not a recording. This is not like a fingering lesson, like put your finger. This is all mental. Sometimes it's just a matter of have someone record you, push record, play, do it, tremble. Remember, you can always delete that video. Just make sure you know where the deleted videos are. Nowadays, things go viral. You ever make your spouse angry, they'll make it go viral. But you can always go back and delete it and do it and do it and do it. And after a few times, guess what? You get more comfortable with it. You may never reach the comfort level, but that to me is the most important thing about recording. But just to recap, 1, set up the number the way you like it. 2, rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. And 3, just do it, as Nike says. Just do it. Do it. Tremble. Go through it. The more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get at it. Okay? One other thing, a couple announcements, and Jerome's going to finish off with the number for you. But I did want to say there was a little trick. Some people have, and you can do this with the USBs as well. Some people have internal storage, like the Odyssey has 6 songs you're going to record. Some have 20, where you're kind of limited in the number of songs. What you can do is a little trick. I had a student once, actually it was the Odyssey that she purchased, and it was a December month, and she wanted me to record some songs and some Christmas songs. And I thought, if I record 6 songs, that'll use up all of her space on the instrument, and so then she won't have any other recordings. So what I did was I just pushed record on one song, and I had 6 or 7 songs already selected, and I recorded it, and then when I got done recording, instead of pressing stop, I paused, set up the next song, played it again, and the whole time I did that, the recording continued. So essentially what I did with one song was a medley. I did a bunch of song numbers. So you can do that as well. If you have a USB, you want to just put one song on one, do it. It's kind of like doing a medley. So it's a little trick for you. A couple of quick announcements. Very important. Jerome said a few times, Sean's going to do this, he's going to do this. We have product feature classes. Next week, for example, on Tuesday is going to be the A series. And then the following 2 weeks, 3 weeks after that, the next time we have the Elite EX and EY, those classes we're going to teach a little more specifically on the ins and outs on recording. So Charlotte, you have a Liberty, that's an A series. Next Tuesday, you're going to want to come to that because Jerome's going to go step by step on recording it and how to transfer it to a CD. And if you have an E series, you might want to come to that too because a lot of that is very similar in the instruction. Sean's going to do it, and he's going to talk about MP. So we're going to do a few of those so you can get the hang of that, and the videos will be posted on YouTube, so you can go back and watch those, and it'll be helpful to you. Speaking of up-and-coming events, if you haven't heard, this Friday, Jerome and I are doing the Zoom musical, but we're going to do something a little bit different than the norm. So all I can tell you, I'm not going to tell you the details. All I'm going to tell you is you want to be there, but we're going to put on a show that's really fun and neat, and encourage your friends. And here's the thing. If you want to invite your friends to the Zoom musical, the website, if you haven't checked it out yet,
It's new.
the website is a work in progress, and it's going to continue to be a work in progress over time, but it is now accessible that you can go online and you can click all the links for the classes. You can join the classes from there. And what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to I'm going to give you a screenshot of the let's see here, of the web page if you haven't done it yet. So let's make sure that you can see this. All right, Charlotte, can you see that? Mm-hmm. Just a nod. Okay, so what you'll notice on the web page here is if you go to FletcherMusic.com and you go to the home page, you'll see all sorts of neat little things on here. For all the classes and the events, you can just simply click here. And then if you go into the calendars, what you can do is there's 3 different calendars. One is the virtual variety classes, like today and Thursday. And then all the product features are on Tuesdays and Mondays. So, for example, if you go here, and there's another calendar that gives you that too, and it'll tell you the class that we're featuring and all the models. That's perfect. Now, this is not isolated to these instruments, by the way. And then when it's ready to join, you just click on that, and it'll bring that. That's the Zoom link. Okay, and it's that simple. Now, I'm not going to do it because then it'll just kick you out and open up the next Zoom class. And you'll see that there's the product features. Some of these overlap. So if I do it here, it'll show it here as well. And the other cool thing is it always gives you the up-and-coming classes over the next, I want to say 7 days or so. So if you want to tell your friends, hey, join our Zoom musical, tell them to go to the special events, and then on Friday, and all the times, by the way, are Eastern Standard Time. And the reason for this is we have people from the UK, Canada, Michigan, New York, Texas, all over the world now that are going to be joining us, and having one time zone that everybody can just figure out from there is we found easiest. So we've been trying to put EST, meaning Eastern, on everything. This here is kind of built into the program. So you can tell your friends, join our concert this week. All they have to do is go to the website and click here. They don't have to join our mailing list, although they can if they'd like to. They just go to our website, and then at the bottom here, there's a join our mailing list option. And then starting next week, check this out, folks. Next week, if you go to this calendar page, each store is going to have an individual. You can pick whatever one you want. Doesn't matter what store you normally go to.
Oh.
You can go and you can say, well, I wonder what Port Charlotte is doing. And then you'll be able to click on there. And when their events get posted, they'll have it here. Now, there's nothing shown here because I'm in the process of teaching the managers how to get the information there. But next week, you'll see some events throughout the month that each store will have. And you'll have access to basically every store's events on top of the ones that we're doing company-wide right now. So I want to take as much time, and I'm going to do this a lot over the next couple of weeks, because as you guys get accustomed in using that, you're going to see less emails every day. Throughout this month, I'm going to send you an email for everything, and then gradually I'll use it to send you special events and stuff, and that way you don't have to get bombarded with emails. You'll get a weekly update and things like that. So I'm just going to switch it over time, and we're going to just try to make it easier for you to access. I have people that said, I don't get the email anymore, and we can't figure out why. It's in the system. You can't get it, and sometimes it's the email service. I had someone with an Earthlink that for some reason all of a sudden wasn't getting it, and they called them, and they said there was a problem. They had to get a new email. Well, if you don't get the email and you go to the website, you can just click, and that's it. As long as you have a computer or an iPad or a smart device, you can join right in. So I know it took a little extra time on that, but I really want to do that and make it as easy as possible for you.
That's pretty easy.
It should be easy. Just go to the website, and then after you go around and look at it a while, what'll happen over time is you'll get used to using it, and you'll know exactly what you're doing.
Thank you.
Last but not least, before we turn it over to Jerome. I'm sorry, I'm multitasking. I'm reading some of the chat questions in case there's a question here. Setting up your phone on a selfie device is one way to record yourself. That's true. Even when we're doing that, we get nervous right away. So do it a few times. There are any questions about anything else? Peg, you have a question? Peg Remy?
I do not have a question. Two quick things. The website is fantastic. Thank you. And based on my experience, not a good idea to put the cell phone on your instrument.
Oh.
It's crazy. You won't like it.
Okay, so yeah, it's kind of an FYI, by the way. If you have your cell phone close to the instrument, this may sound funny, but our head technician in Florida figured this out years ago. We had a student that had an organ, and it was making this weird noise, and she kept bringing in these recordings with a phone, and we couldn't figure it out. And he said, oh yeah, it's probably because the phone's on the, and certain cell services, certain cell phones, and what do you know, I went out to the house, we put the phone on, and it started making a static. So if you have a cell phone and you're using it close by, if you ever get a staticky noise, that's the first thing to check out. That's a fact. It depends on the cell service, the type of phone you're using. Depends on a lot of little factors, but sometimes that'll do it. So anything else? Any questions? All right. I know we went a little longer than usual. I spent a little extra time on the website, but I really want to make sure that we make your experiences best, and just keep in mind, it's always a work in progress, always a work in progress. We're always working on it. Hopefully the video feed was a little better today. We have a little bit faster internet connection. And I'm going to switch the camera to Jerome. And Jerome, you have to look up at the camera now.
Hey, camera.
Hi, Jerome.
He forgets you're up. You're up there. I say up there, but where I'm pointing. But there we go.
What unit is that you're playing, Jerome?
All right, Jerome. So he's going to finish off a little number for you, and we hope you enjoyed today's class. We're going to do it again tomorrow, so it'll be, if you want to join us again, there you go.
This is for Justin.
big round of applause. We spotlighted Justin there in the end, very end there. That was Justin. He was
Good job, good job.
yeah.
Very good.
He was an employee
Good
here
job.
for a while, and he decided to go to California and learn himself a thing or two at school. And I mean, that was one of his favorite songs. But anyway, thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed. Let's give a big round of applause to Jerome Johnson,
Thank you,
everybody.
thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, very
Camera's
good.
up there.
I'm looking up here. Hey, see you later, though.
Thank you,
We got something out of this today.
You got to say, stay safe. Keep playing music. Now you got to blow
He
him a
didn't see me, but he can hear me.
Great job, Jerome.
I hear you. Yeah.
All right, we'll see you real soon. Take care.
Yeah.
Love you all.